going on, everybody?
That was very Ric Flair of you.
It was. Sorry, I'm
Welcome.
still recovering from that wrestling episode.
Yes, you were on the injured list for a while. You took a couple months off.
I did. Yeah.
You came back full force. You rebranded yourself. No.
No, I should have said boo. That's what I should have went with.
Boo.
Yeah. Well,
Boo. Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Tis the season.
Tis the season. Right now, we are coming to you live. If you're watching this on YouTube later, then not live. But if you're watching this live, then we're coming to you live from the unknown subterranean basement location, somewhere in Springfield. That's all you need to know. We're chilling. We're relaxing today. My seat, I don't know if you're sitting further in your seat, but it looks like you're leaning further back than I am.
I'm kind of slouching.
Even though you're slouching. Okay.
I'm slouching a little bit. It looks good on camera.
It looks great. So he was going to say boo, which is adequate for today because we're talking about horror movies.
Yes.
Dave and Jason versus horror movies.
Indeed.
Pay no mind to my shirt. This shirt has nothing to do with today's show. This is just a personal point of view.
I prefer it. Yes, very nice.
Who doesn't?
Yes.
My beard looks good, doesn't it?
It looks good.
Thanks
I shaved
to,
mine off.
You shaved yours off.
And I got to start it over.
You're a stubble kind of guy. I go full beard.
I can't go full beard. I've tried.
You can't? No.
It bugs. I can't do it.
Does it itch?
I'm like a dog. I'm like.
That'll go away. I had many a long night where I was up scratching.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta fight through that.
Power through.
It seems like it's the laziest thing to do because you don't do anything to it.
Yeah.
But in reality, I have a beard wash.
Mm-hmm.
I have beard oil, and I use all these products for said beard, thanks to Grave Before Shave. Send me free stuff, Grave Before Shave. You guys are awesome. No, but they are. So that's about that.
Right.
But yeah, we're doing horror today. I've got the list here of what we're going to be talking about. I'm excited. The taste test is going to be going on all day today.
It's red liquid.
I'm going to try and cover up the bottle brand here because we're not monetized. I don't care. So look at this. It's supposed to be blood, but it's real. It looks more like plasma, I was saying earlier. So we took blood, centrifuged the plasma out, and now we can cure diseases and give whoever gave us the blood $50 because it was the second time they donated in a week. That's for you poor college kids out there who know about donating plasma for money. So.
Yep. All right. What we got?
First of all, if you have an idea for a topic of the show, if you want to see us versus something,
yes.
Dave and Jason versus at gmail.com.
Yes.
Dave and Jason versus at gmail.com. You can send us any ideas. We'll listen. We'll read them all. We'll get back to you. We read every email.
True.
I do at least because I have them. I have them directly.
I have it on my phone
phone
too. I do too.
And it's mostly Twitter because we're also on Twitter.
We are.
Dave and Jason versus at Dave and Jason versus.
Yeah.
Is what the Twitter would be.
Yes.
So you can follow us there. But yeah, get a lot of emails from Twitter.
And we're on Facebook as well.
We are Facebook.com/
Dave and Jason versus.
So we do a lot of live streaming stuff from Facebook. What is it called? Facebook Live?
Facebook Live, yes. And I just discovered from a friend the other day, I'm going to look into it for us, but apparently there's software that you can get that might even be able to apply to this show sometime, where we can actually, if we get a green screen, we can actually live stream onto Facebook Live as well. Maybe even simultaneously. I don't know. I'm looking into it, though.
More to come.
I'm looking into it.
More to come. A lot of things are going good for us, I guess, in the show because we're talking about green screens and softwares and I don't know.
We're looking into it.
He's the guy on that. That's kind of his gig. He's better at that than I am. I'm not saying I don't help out.
Well, yeah.
I don't though, because he's really good at that kind of stuff. So. Again, Dave and Jason versus at gmail.com. He just showed that. I don't know why.
I was picking it up.
You were picking it up. He wasn't actually showing it to me.
My bad.
But
good art though.
Oh, it's super cool. Look at that. Dark Knight Returns Collector's Edition. Okay. You had a good week?
I've had a good week.
Good week?
It's probably one of the best weeks I've had. I've just felt really great. First time in a while. I've been very happy. I've been feeling good.
Why have you been feeling happy?
I don't know. I just am I finally just am feeling in a good mood. I feel like things are kind of ironing out. And
For something big, maybe?
hopefully, yeah,
Okay.
hopefully. I'm hoping it'll go through, and then it's
Good.
just life in general. Like I told my wife yesterday, I just said, all is good. I'm just happy. I know a lot of crap has happened, but
Yep.
all is good.
I feel you. It's been a
Yeah.
good week. I moved.
Yeah. Oh,
I moved into my own
Ooh,
subterranean basement location. More to come on that, so that's exciting.
true.
That's about it. Oh yeah, the Mystery Hour won a couple Emmys, but that's,
Yeah. And you.
I was there.
Yeah. Well, you're part of the team, so I mean.
Part of the team. I won an Emmy.
You
We
won.
won-
Yes, he won an Emmy. Don't be too
We
shy.
won an Emmy.
Yes.
But that was great. We won the Emmy for Best Show,
Mhm,
Mystery
mhm.
Hour, and then Best. What was the technical term? Like
Host?
video? No.
No, it was for Instagram.
Video.
Husband.
It was for Instagram husbands.
Yeah.
Check that out. It was for video segments. So,
Mhm.
real quick though,
Yo.
the Emmys. It was the regional Emmys.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people, mostly Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City.
Mhm.
Down even into Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it was local stuff. A lot of it was local pieces. A lot of it was heavy subjects.
Yes.
I'm not going to go into it because this is a fun show. But if you email us at daveandjasonversus@gmail.com, Dave, D-A-V-E, and Jason, Jason, versus VS, it's always VS, at gmail.com. I will send you some of the not categories, but some of the nominees. Some of the nominees for these awards, best interest piece, best, something. Well, there was all kinds of different categories, but some of these video packages that were nominated were very, very upsetting
Really?
and unfortunate. Yeah, like
Well, you'll tell me about that.
I will.
Yeah,
I know. I didn't.
I'm
know
interested.
We didn't. I mean, it is the horror episode, so
That's true.
so that's one thing. So that's one thing. It is a horror episode, but not necessarily that. That's kind of real deal. I don't like real deal blood and guts.
Yeah.
But I do love fake blood and guts. That's why we're going to get into the show today.
Yes.
So first thing,
Mhm.
I was going to say, and it's kind of hard. This is sort of a kind of a, you got to think outside the box.
Okay.
But I was thinking that, horror movies as kids
Uh-huh.
versus as now adults,
Yes.
because we're both in our 30s,
Yes.
wearing obligatory Captain America shirts because we're in our 30s. We have to. Not right now, but we'll both wear our Captain America shirts one episode.
There
You
you
have a Captain America shirt, don't you?
Yeah. I got somewhere.
Well, of course, you're in your 30s. So the thinking outside the box part is, I was gonna say, as kids, these movies were a lot scarier to us,
Well,
and I'm talking the movies that we're gonna be talking about. A lot of
Mhm.
my favorite movies, his favorite movies, the universe's favorite movies. But as a kid, a lot scarier. And then you got to think about this: is it only because we've seen them so many times now that it's not scary because we've seen all the scary parts? Like, do you still? Let me ask you this question: do you still get scared going to new movies you've never seen before? Like a movie that's scary.
Oh yeah, I jumped. It was the first time since I was a kid that I jumped in a horror movie. When it was The Conjuring 2. My wife and I just watched it here a few weeks back, and
The first one's scary.
it was good. The second one blows it out of the water.
Does it?
Yeah, oh yeah. And the thing is, James Wan, the director, he's gotten to the point where he knows how to manipulate you into thinking something's going to happen. And he kept building this one scene where it looked like I was waiting for the jump scare. I was like, oh, it's going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen.
The boo.
Oh, it was going to happen. And it kept going and going. And I thought, oh, what was going to happen? And then where I thought it was going to happen, it didn't. So I let my guard down.
And then he got you.
And he turned it around. It was the most simple thing. And
Oh.
I screamed like a little girl. You asked me. At first, she was like laughing at me. I was like, oh, God. Son of a... Got me! They got me!
Oh, that's funny.
It's a good movie, though. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's Tank. He's barking. Be quiet, Tank. We're live.
We're live, Tank. Tank's the what is the technical term for the three-headed dog? Hydra. Is it
He's a Hydra.
He's our Hydra. And he protects the secret subterranean basement location from
Evil neighbor dogs.
threats, both foreign and domestic, meaning neighbor dogs. But no, we're on the mend from that. So
yeah, but still, damn that dog.
Inside stories.
Yep.
Ben, we're not going to talk about it because it's kind of an unfortunate heavy subject.
Yes, it is. But we'll move on.
So yeah, so you do still get scared when you go to movies.
Oh yeah, it depends on the movie. I mean, you gotta pick. Like I just saw a trailer for a movie. It was one of the best edited trailers I've ever seen. Who was it? Peele from Key and Peele.
Right.
He wrote and directed a thriller.
Is it a thriller?
It's called Get Out.
Get Out.
If you've not seen this trailer, look it up. I mean, I watched it. It was the first trailer for a scary like thriller movie like that I've seen where I was like, what the heck is going on?
I got to go with him on this, so I say go check it out.
Yes, I'll have to show you after the show.
Show me after the show.
Crazy.
We're gonna do a Facebook Live of me watching the trailer.
Let's do it. I
Yeah.
like it.
So after this, head on over to our Facebook page,
which is facebook.com/Dave and Jason versus. Yes.
And we'll have a live video of me watching the trailer for Get Out, the latest from Key and Peele star.
I think his name's Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
That is, yeah.
Keegan-Michael Key, isn't that his name?
Yes.
Right? He did the movie. What's that movie about improv? I haven't seen it because I heard it's a little too realistic, and I'm from the improv scene, and I got out for reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that it might be a little too close to home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Don't think twice or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. Email us.
He's been on Who's Line. He's really funny on Who's Line anyway. Keegan-Michael Key.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that show.
Him and Wayne Brady. Great. Anyway, back to scary stuff.
Right. So, another thing I'm wondering is a lot of the movies we saw as kids that were scary. Would adults be like, that's not scary?
It depends. There's certain movies. Of course, when you're younger and you're watching like the Friday the 13th movies.
Right.
Nightmare on Elm Street, it was still creepy.
Right.
I mean, they were more like of a mind screw movies, so it just creeps you out. Because Freddy Krueger still creeps me out.
Why?
He just is so. It's Freddy Krueger. I mean, he can come to you in your dreams, and you can't escape your dreams. Really, in a way.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you sleep safe at night. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna help you sleep.
I appreciate it.
In the movie. Okay. Now let's take a look. Let's step back. Let's take a look. Now we might be able to do this with every single horror movie.
It's true.
We're gonna deconstruct it and show you that it's not really that scary.
Okay.
Okay. So now there might be some people that might still find it scary because my justification of it being non-scary. Might still have some people in the category, okay?
Okay.
In that movie,
okay.
Let's back up and first of all, we're talking about Freddy Krueger, who's the main antagonist, right, of the movie Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Correct. And in this movie, there was a woman who was taken advantage of by a lot of guards, and the child, Freddy Krueger, was left in the boiler room. And the families of all the guards who subsequently lived on Elm Street decided to kill the baby, throw it in the however it was that Freddy Krueger became Freddy Krueger. But it was because of the families of Elm Street that happened. So Freddy Krueger only haunts the families of people who live on Elm Street. That's how it is in the movie. I live on McDaniel Street. You live on Gracie Street. No Freddy Krueger. Like, that's it. That's all there is to it. I've never been to Camp Crystal Lake.
That's true.
Jason's never coming for me, nor is his mother. I've never been the brother of Michael Myers. He's not coming for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying as adults.
But what about that one guy who's in the wrong place at the wrong time?
There weren't many of those guys.
There are, though, every now and then.
There are, though, but like Michael Myers, he never, he was always just dead set on getting Jamie Lee Curtis.
It's true.
That was his sister.
Yes.
It was his family he was going after.
It's true. I mean, that's true.
And he was always just like, no matter how much you ran, he was there.
Yeah.
But, that kind of stuff. Now, and this brings me to my next point, which I'm going to get you on.
Ooh.
Classic horror movies. Classic You know, like Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the thing is, Dracula, kids, cover your ears. He's hanging out with Santa. You know, like, they don't, not real. Werewolf, mummies, Frankenstein's.
Yep.
Not real.
But the point of horror, as it always has been from the dawn of it, sorry, history here,
Yeah.
is we like to be scared. It goes back to the Brothers Grimm tales. There was stories that were told, and there's just something about that adrenaline rush and the unknown.
Right.
That's why, as humans, we've always been fascinated with the otherworldly or spirit world or whatever. And and when there's things that happen that we can't explain. We try to.
Yeah.
And it just, but we like being scared. Why do you think people like going on rides, like at theme parks? It's an adrenaline rush. It's the same thing after you see a good horror movie. It's supposed to be like a roller coaster ride.
Right.
And going back to movies like the first movie Frankenstein, I was telling my students in my media class I teach at MSU that I always bring up history in my classes of films with editing and things like that.
The original Frankenstein, black and white,
Yes.
with the torches and the girl and everything.
Yep, Boris Karloff, directed by James Whale.
Right.
We don't think of those movies as scary now.
Right.
I watch every single one of the classic Universal horror movies during October. It's my thing. I love watching them because I love where I love the history of where things have come from, in comparing to now, and I would have loved to have been a filmmaker back in those times. I just what they do is just I love watching the special effects.
A lot of practical effects.
Yes.
Yes.
And how they do things, but like the beginning of Frankenstein, they actually have one of the actors come out from like a stage, behind a curtain, and he basically warns the audience about how gruesome it is. And there were people that passed out while watching the original Frankenstein because they thought it was so violent. And it's all about perception. So that's why nowadays, when you got into the 60s and 70s drive-in movies, and people pushing the envelope, because you had to push the envelope in order to get the attention away from the big blockbuster people. That's why people like Roger Corman was making all his money and stuff at the drive-ins during the 60s, 70s, and through part of the 80s. He was making, as Jack Nicholson always said, Roger Corman's only problem is that every now and then he made a good movie.
Yeah.
and a lot of his movies are fantastic. I'll get into a couple of mine here in a bit. But we like to be scared. We love. That's why you see couples and young couples go to see a scary movie
together because they want to cuddle up.
They want to cuddle up. Right. It's just it's always been like that. Even back when they were doing radio dramas, you had radio adaptations of stuff like that, and it was still scary to them because people were using their imagination. And now you have to, as filmmakers nowadays, you have to be able to take these ideas that have been done so much and flip them on their head. So when you get a good movie like that, even if it is the same type of jump scares you've always seen, it's all in how you do them now. Right. Just like I was saying with The Conjuring 2. It got me. And it's just we like to be scared. That's why that genre is one of the top 3 genres that's always selling in film markets. Number 1 now is actually documentaries because Netflix and Hulu are now having documentaries on there all the time.
I love them.
Yes, me too. I want to make another one. So I can try and get it on Netflix at some point. 2 is drama. 3 is horror. It used to be horror, drama, then documentary, but since the advent of streaming, documentaries become first, drama second, horror is the third. Those are your top 3 markets. Science fiction would come right after that. But science fiction, you've got to have a unique story to get people's attention. That's the one thing with science fiction you have to do. But that all said, we like to be scared, and I think history shows that because you see the progression of how creepier films got. The people who watched the films in the 30s when they got to be filmmakers, how you could see the influence of those times, but they were trying to do things differently, show a little more here and there. Just like the gradual thing with like violence in Hollywood in general in these films.
Just horror in these movies. They keep getting, it keeps getting more and more.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some of those movies.
You've got stuff like what they call gore porn now.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
I'm not a
straight.
big fan of gore, like just gory movies for the sake of being gory,
Yeah.
unless it's Evil Dead, because Evil Dead does it in such a way that it's so ridiculous it's funny almost.
It was needed in Evil Dead.
Yeah.
But to tell the story. So, okay. So, that was awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for that little bit of history. Jason's History Corner. So, and no, but, you know, I'm glad that we talked about. So, this is going to be this is where we're going next with this little bit right here. Classic movie monsters. I'm talking Dracula. I'm talking the Mummy. I'm talking the werewolf. I'm talking the Frankenstein.
The Frankenstein?
The Frankenstein.
The Frankenstein.
Frankenstein's monster, if you want to
Yeah.
get technical.
Yeah.
Which, real quick, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the movie with Robert De Niro,
Mhm.
still to this day one of the scariest movies of all time. You ever seen that?
Oh yeah, really? You thought that was really
That
scary?
was so scary.
Really?
It was. It was another one of those, you know, oof, in your brain.
Well, I think
scary.
it was one of those with Kenneth Branagh, who directed it. I think his approach to it was kind of going with a more elegant type of horror. But I remember the one scene where he like went and like plunged his hands in the
Right.
woman's chest and ripped out her heart.
I was like 8.
Mm-hmm.
Terrified me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
The Dracula, the Mummy, the Frankenstein, the werewolf. Versus! Because it's Dave and Jason versus 80s classic horror movie guys. Mike Myers, Freddy, Jason, Chucky. Battle Royal, who wins? Battle Royal! Battle Royal versus!
Man, that is a good question.
You know,
Who do you think? It is a hard
it's a
question.
hard question.
I
I think that there is I feel like there's more indestructibility when it comes to the 80s movie characters.
touche. Mm-hmm.
I feel there were more weaknesses
Mm-hmm.
for all those classic silver bullets, garlic crosses,
Yes.
holy water, fire for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
As opposed to they just kind of had to blow up Jason, but he always seemed to come back.
Yeah.
Like I think it was Jason Takes Manhattan, which is absurd. And we'll talk about all those,
Yeah.
and kind of, here in a minute. But Jason was blown up in a bunch of pieces at the bottom of Camp Crystal Lake, or at the bottom of some body of water, and then somebody's boat comes in, and their anchor hooks him, and then
an electrical
wire.
Yep, and it reanimates.
and it
him.
reanimates him.
Yeah, there's always a way to bring back Jason.
So now, is that them being indestructible, or is that them being incredibly fragile? Because now, going back to, let's say, wrestling, yeah, you might be the 9-time world heavyweight champion, but you're also the 8-time loser.
Yep.
I didn't mean to point at you when I'm saying that. It's all right. You're still the 9-time world champ. Don't worry about it.
Sure, yeah.
But no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
You've lost 8 times if you're
Mhm.
the 9-time world champ. So, and how many times have they gotten Dracula? Did he come back a ton of times? No.
He did.
Was there a Dracula 2 Electric Boogaloo?
No, but we should make that.
We're going to. I want to suck your blood on the dance floor. I go to dot 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 dot. Yeah, dude. Dracula 2
man.
Electric Boogaloo coming from American. No, that won't be under your deal. Coming from DJV Productions.
That was great.
That's David Jason versus DJV.
Dracula, there's a lot of movies, and he always comes back. Now it depends on which ones you're talking about, because there's also the Hammer horror version of Dracula, where he always kept coming back. Christopher Lee.
Hammer version?
Hammer Films over in Britain.
I don't know if I've ever heard of those.
Really?
Yeah,
We have something to watch, sir.
we do.
Because the Hammer version, they basically bought all the rights from Universal after in the late 40s, early 50s, and they started doing their own versions of it. And so they did The Horror of Dracula,
Right.
The Curse of Frankenstein, and they kept on doing all these movies. And Christopher Lee played Dracula through almost all of those Dracula movies.
Right.
And so it could be argued that Dracula, though he could die, he could still come back. I say, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. Wolfman would lose, but what happens if he scratches or bites Jason Voorhees?
Then Jason Voorhees becomes well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How does a werewolf? I mean, is Jason Voorhees alive even to be susceptible to a scratch that would obviously, if you get scratched by a werewolf, you become then a werewolf. So there's something in the dirt, in the nails that goes into your skin, into your blood, almost like a zombie virus.
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees is not alive. He has no blood. What would happen?
You know, that's a good question. That's a good. I mean, that is a valid point too. But I mean, you could also argue that since he's a revenant, really, which is somebody who comes back to life, even though he's not.
Don't plug Leonardo DiCaprio movies.
I wasn't. I was actually
in the horror podcast.
I was. It's actually a real thing. It's called a revenant.
Oh, Zombies of the World. He's got big Zombies of the World.
Yeah, well, a revenant. I mean, that's what they would call the technical term.
Well, yeah, because I mean that movie.
It
The term of the revenant means somebody who comes back.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, if Jason was bit by a werewolf, or a wolfman, if you will,
I will.
I think it would have some effect on him because every time you see him in every movie, technically, go back to the first Friday the 13th, he was a kid.
Right, because it was his mom.
In every single one, though, he kept growing up and getting bigger.
Right.
So technically, if he's still growing,
okay,
on some level, he has some type of life in him. It may not be the same life.
So he
that
was
you and I have.
never really dead, except for the time when he was in a bunch of pieces and then a telephone pole or electrical wire.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was blue. I think in Jason Goes to Hell is when he got blown up.
Okay.
I think the one right before Jason Takes Manhattan, he had chains wrapped around him. He was dropped to the bottom of the.
Right.
Yeah, and then he got But anyway, I would have to go with. It has to either be Jason or Michael Myers.
So you're saying, and I'm not saying like which one's gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm saying which group.
Oh, 80s guys.
80s guys versus classical guys.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, I did say battle royal.
It's true.
I did say battle royal.
That's what threw me off.
Over the top rope, both feet at the ground.
Yeah.
Who would win? And I think you're right, Jason Voorhees or Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Just because in those movies, those guys were brutes as well.
Yes.
Dracula was very sophisticated.
Yes.
Wolfman was a wolf, so he was a little more stealthy. The Mummy had no coordination whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then who was the other one? Frankenstein also. Now
Frankenstein, he would have he'd probably be first. He'd probably come in a close second, just because.
Okay.
He was freakishly strong.
Remember when Shaq was in the Royal Rumble? Remember how well that went? I equate Shaq in the Royal Rumble as Frankenstein in the Royal Rumble.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, yes, very tall, very strong, has no business in the ring, and you're going over them top ropes quick. Like, the top rope comes to the guy's thigh.
That's true.
And, like, he's just going to go over, and Kane's going to come out, and he's going to do his thing, and the fire's going to come up, and he's going to be like, fire, man! And he's going to take himself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Frankenstein doesn't like fire. And the devil's favorite demon comes in! I don't know what I'm doing right now. What's happening?
It'd be because I remember in the movie it was like,
yeah, fire bad. Like, he hates fire.
You know, or we can go with Young Frankenstein.
We're not clicking on any of these, by the way.
Yeah, we're not right now. Well, no, we haven't talked.
Okay, we're getting to that.
We're getting to that here in a second.
We have graphics.
Yeah, we do.
We have visual aids.
Visual aids.
We're visual aids.
Yes, we have visual aids for today.
But I'm not gonna say that. But he heard it, so it's okay. Okay, so
we're just gonna go. Let's just go through the line and talk about it.
Sure, that's fine. I was gonna say before we get into this line of visual aids, who do you think would win? Email us, daveandjasonversus@gmail.com. If we forgot someone in the Royal Rumble,
we did,
which we did. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes, but I'm going to bring him
I
up.
know you will. And he was definitely the fifth. I would say Creature from the Black Lagoon is kind of like the Aquaman of the Justice Super Friends, like Dracula is Superman, the Mummy is Wonder Woman, Frankenstein is Cyborg, of course, and the werewolf is Batman, and then you got Creature from the Black Lagoon is Aquaman.
But if we're gonna base it on the new Aquaman, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, Khal Drogo from
Game
of Thrones.
All right, so let's talk about some favorite horror movies, and I know you and I both mentioned this guy here.
Yes.
It is John Carpenter's Halloween. And
Halloween.
For those of you who don't know me, John Carpenter is like my idol since I was a child. I love watching his movies. I would take notes on the commentary.
He does.
This movie is, what started out. And what's interesting about this movie is that when it first got released, it didn't do anything. It was a failure. Then somebody got a second screening somehow.
Right.
And it ended up being a huge, one of the early best independent hits ever. And it's just good. I mean, it's just a classic horror movie. It's always fun to watch. It's always good.
I have to watch. I have to watch Halloween on Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
While it's giving out candy to the kids. It's a tradition. Because, it's called Halloween.
Yeah.
If there was a movie called Thanksgiving, I would watch it on Thanksgiving.
They're trying to make one of the Grindhouse movies. Remember the Thanksgiving trailer?
Yeah.
It's on Eli Roth's in development titles. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm thinking maybe a Thanksgiving movie that's maybe more about Thanksgiving and less about blood and gore, which I'm sure that's probably what it would be about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Other than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is the only Thanksgiving holiday movie anyway, ever.
True, and that can be scary at times, depending on how many times you watch it.
Depends on how many times you watch it.
Now, there's another version of Halloween, obviously, it's Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Oh, yeah, saw that one too. That one delves more into the kid.
It's
Michael
more of a
Myers.
Psychological exploration of why he became that. And, of course, recently, John Carpenter came out and said that he didn't like the version because he thought that explaining how Michael Myers was the way he was took some of the mystique away from what he...
I agree.
It did. But I also have to say that if you're going to remake something, I felt that what Rob Zombie did was a good remake. He made it different from all the other ones and all the sequels.
True.
And I still watch both of these movies because they're both... Like, this one, Rob Zombie's horror films are just very visceral. And when you watch Halloween, you just are like, oh my gosh, no wonder this guy's such a psychotic, freak. I was actually, knowing a little bit of where he came from. Because nowadays, I think the audience needs to have that type of connection to the character. Because sometimes the character doesn't, if it's been done so many times, he doesn't become as scary anymore at some point. So him doing what he did is, I think...
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was totally going to hit back on that. That's so perfect. Because we were talking about how the classic stars, or horror stars, Dracula, Mummy, are scary because Dracula never went to the moon, or to space, or to Manhattan. The werewolf, it was never, werewolf. I mean, there was an American Werewolf in London.
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying? They never got to because those classic horror movies.
They were period pieces.
They never got to that goofy, and I know you love it. And we're going to talk about it here in a minute. Freddy versus Jason status, which is less scary, more
just fun.
Thrill,
just
more
fun.
Thriller, fun.
Yeah.
Not campy or cheap or anything. It was a well done movie. I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
The day it came out, I couldn't wait. There he is. Here's the dangerous Hydra. So yeah, and it was never Dracula 2 Electric Boogaloo, even though there will be now.
Somebody make a poster for that, please.
Please. DavidMasonVersus@gmail.com. Send it to us.
Yes.
We will post it on our page.
There's Tank.
There he is.
Hey, Tanky. How you doing, buddy?
I exaggerated on the number of
buddy?
heads.
You okay? Yeah, it's okay. He's camera shy.
He is.
But
his tongue is not, though.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He is the best.
I'm going to sneeze for a day now. Okay, you go be good, Tank. Okay.
Next. Let's see here.
Where are we at now? This one is terrifying. This is one of those. I think it was like the '60s, late '60s when this movie came out.
Maybe I think it was late '60s, early '70s.
Early '70s, yeah. Around the same time as it feels like The Exorcist, which we haven't talked about it at all, but it'll go along with Rosemary's Baby. I mean, these were very halfway through, you don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
Is there and then in Rosemary's Baby, you just start to realize that stuff ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gotten wrapped up in this, and it's not even like there's no booze, there's not really a lot of come out and scare you like in The Exorcist, like in Carrie, even maybe, or a lot of the '80s scary movies that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But Rosemary's Baby is just oh my gosh, that could happen to me, or that could happen to somebody I know, or something like that. Oh, yeah. Rosemary's Baby is a scary.
Yeah, directed by Roman Polanski as well.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in all that directing stuff. I don't know.
All right, next. The Blair Witch Project.
I've had people disagree with me.
Okay.
But I am going to have to strongly stick to my guns and say that The Blair Witch Project is the scariest movie ever made.
To some extent, because when I watched it again recently, and it didn't affect me the first time I watched it years ago when I was younger.
Right.
When it first came out.
Right.
What these guys, Eduardo Sanchez and these guys did, was a brilliant marketing campaign. For this. What they did was, I remember on Sci-Fi Channel watching Blair Witch documentaries and how stuff actually happened and all this and that. And it was not even, it was all just one big, publicity stunt.
It was
and
huge.
It got people in the theater, and it was brilliant in that manner. Now that I know, when I watch the movie, it's not as scary to me.
Right.
But it's still good. And since I just did the remake, I had my wife watch it. And I'm actually friends with the guy who helped create this on Facebook, And he's a super nice guy. And I said, my wife's like, oh, they remade it? And I said, yeah. I said, you need to watch the original. And it happened to be like $5 on iTunes.
I have it on Blu-ray because it's the scariest movie ever.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time they ever did, a handheld throughout that I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
That the masses had ever seen, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was, you didn't see a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't,
It's all sound.
All sound.
Yep.
And then a little bit of,
It's all perception.
It's all perception. Mm-hmm. There was that one scene at the very end that is the scariest thing. I remember seeing that movie, and I've never seen this happen in a movie theater ever since. And I'm going to talk about another movie as soon as I'm done that we don't have in here. I'm just going to make it quick. As soon as the Blair Witch Project was done, nobody got up. Yeah. When I saw it in theaters the first time, when we all saw it, when we finally got to see what everybody was talking about, nobody got up. It was silent.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
See, that's the thing that they did, though, is that it was the perception that they had given everybody. And if they hadn't promoted it like that, I don't think it would have done as well. But
I remember watching documentaries on it.
Brilliant. After I found out about the whole this is all publicity done fake, people were so mad, and I'm sitting there going, that was freaking genius.
Amazing.
So Eduardo Sanchez and your guys, thumbs up.
My cousin Paul, I'm pretty sure it was Paul. I have twins, cousins. They're older than me, Paul or Steve. I'm pretty sure it was Paul. Went over to my house, because we all went and saw it together. Then we all went back to my aunt's house, his mom, obviously, to hang out and talk about it and just, chill. He slipped out, went over to my house, and put a bunch of piles of stones and sticks in the form of the guy. Remember the guy in the sticks?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's so brilliant. You said Paul did that?
My cousin Paul.
Paul, I like you. That was pretty good.
It was, I'll never... Maybe that has something to do with me thinking that movie's the scariest movie of all time. But no, because another movie that kind of came close was the first Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, it was really good.
That movie series was great. I'm a big
good.
fan of those.
And those guys were brilliant at what they did. They only spent $7,000 to make the movie, and it got bought for $14,000. That's brilliant.
Double your profit.
Yeah, and so they made a huge franchise out of it. They did some cool tricks in those. Yeah, there's some cool tricks in there. Like I remember, I don't know if it was the first one, it was the second or third one maybe, where they had the camera where it was like on the rotating thing.
It was on a fan. It was the third one, and he had it on an oscillating fan.
And it came back, and none of the furniture was there, and you're like, what the heck? And all the furniture just dropped, and it was like, wow!
Amazing.
It was just a simple little thing. It was kind of cool.
Amazing.
But
yeah, those movies are good. And I was gonna say, everybody wasn't calm or not calm. Everybody didn't stay still and not talk. It wasn't like a Blair Witch. At the end of Paranormal Activity, the theater I was in, as soon as that movie was over, somebody got up and ran out, arms flailing.
That's awesome.
It was me.
That
movie scared me so much. As soon as it was over, I was like, I got to get out of here as soon as possible.
As filmmakers, when you do a scary thing and somebody has that reaction, it sounds really twisted, but you feel so good about it.
Oh, I bet. Well, because that's what you're going for.
Yeah. Well, it's just like when we showed Stage Fright on American Wasteland on tour. We had people crying, and I was like, people are like, these kids, there are some people crying in there, and I'm all going, like, all evil, like, yay, people are crying.
Well, that's what you want. I've seen Stage Fright, love Stage Fright.
Yeah, it'll become to Amazon Prime soon.
Yeah.
So,
Amazon Prime, send us free Prime memberships.
All right, now I'm going to go to, I have to say, I watch this every year because I love it. I don't know what, I've got a poster of it in the living room.
Okay.
I love this movie. There's just something about it. I just never can. I just love it, even though it's somewhat cheesy now, and it can be considered sci-fi too. But it is horror, classic horror. It's Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The Aquaman of the classic movie horror villains.
So, what's interesting about this character, and I think it's just the approach of there being something out in the Amazon in this for instance,
right?
And the unknown, and they find something, and it's like almost like the missing link between man and whatnot, and they play on the other two movies, and The Creature Walks Among Us and all that, but. And I have all three of the movies, but there's just something about this film, and I'm like, if they remade this now, it's prime real estate for a remake, I think. And I've seen some early concept drawings where people have done the version of him, what he would look like now. And they kind of keep the same thing, but they do some stuff within the face that makes him look horrifying. You know, and because when you watch it now, you're like, oh, it's not as scary. But it's still fun to watch. There's something about the way Jack Arnold and everybody did things. Clint Eastwood's first movie was the second Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The first movie he directed or movie
acted it. He was 16.
Oh.
I think he was 16, yeah. He's a real high-pitched lab assistant over at, like, SeaWorld.
Clint Eastwood?
Yeah. I'll have to show you. It's really funny. But, Creature from the Black Lagoon, I love that movie. The special features are fantastic. I love it, too, when they go hunting for them, because you can't do this anymore, but they're dropping stuff down into the water to kill all the fish.
Oh, like dynamite and stuff?
Well, one's dynamite. It was like poison.
You can't pull that stuff now.
But they're dropping it down in there, and it's like the next morning after they dropped it all in there, you see all the dead fish everywhere, and then suddenly you see the creature go boom, finally, and he pops up like he's unconscious. Yeah, and the way they do it, and they did underwater photography, and they did originally it was released in 3D, and I would love to see the original 3D print of that, or just to see it in 3D because that's the way they shot it. Because they even show on how they created the cameras to do that back then. Because it was during the 50s, early when they do that stuff, 3D. Yeah. But and if you watch it, I mean, they even did stuff where you can see the gills and stuff moving and stuff. For back then, it was that's really amazing stuff. And they would have to have the divers down there, and he'd have have a breathing apparatus. And then he would take a big breath. They'd get out of the shot, roll it, and he'd have to do,
Yeah,
so
right.
I love that movie. Always have, always will. Now let's talk about this one.
We said a little something about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I think that in the movie world, I don't know what the term is in movie world. I like TV a lot as well, but I think that Freddy vs. Jason is the cumulative jumping the shark of Jason and Freddy together.
What makes you say that?
Because it's when Freddy Krueger, and I'm pretty sure this is the movie, when Freddy Krueger turns to the girl from Destiny's Child, because the girl from Destiny's Child was in that movie.
Was she?
Pretty sure.
I'll have to make a look. Anyway, go ahead.
Kelly Rowland or Rowland, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
She was in it.
Is she part of it? Anyway, go ahead.
When Freddy turns to her, and she's like, "Oh, that's going to be his next victim, obviously," and he says, "Sweet, dark meat."
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah. Here's the
I'm
thing.
out.
I agree with you on that. I totally forgot about that part. But it's Freddy, and Freddy just says disgusting stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't out of character to be.
No, sure.
But still, yeah. But at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, the final thing you see in that movie is Freddy's. You see the Jason mask, and then you see
Right.
Freddy's claw hand come from the ground. You hear him laughing,
Right.
and that was like the biggest shocking ending in horror. And so people have been wanting that for 20 years as Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is not that scary. It is just a fun popcorn movie.
Right.
It is just fun to watch. I learned a lot of tricks from this movie, actually, filming wise. But it's just fun. It's Freddy versus Jason, and you can
I was
tell
ready
they're
for
having.
Chucky to come out and be like, "Want to play?"
Well, they were going to do a sequel to this called Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from Evil Dead.
Oh, that'd have been cool.
But Sam Raimi turned it down because he had been trying to get a remake done and trying to get all that going, so he couldn't do it. But it's all right, because now we have Ash versus Evil Dead on Stars, which is
We do.
good.
I haven't seen it. It's on
Yeah.
Stars. Stars, look it up. Kind of like Alien versus Predator. That did happen. Jeez,
So
Jason.
one impression I can do. That's
Perfect.
it. That's all I got.
Spot on.
Predator. All right.
Yeah,
So yeah, Alien vs Predator. That was a popcorn movie too.
it was.
You know, it didn't have the horror aspect like the original Predator and Alien movies had, but that was another fun movie. But it is what it is. What else we got here?
Have they made any other Freddy or Jason movies since Freddy versus Jason?
They have remade them.
They've remade them.
Yes.
Right, Nightmare on Elm Street got remade.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then...
Friday the 13th did as well. I almost walked out of the theater because they didn't try to do anything different.
I
Like
was
how
going to say,
they
I don't
would have
remember
done.
them doing that.
Yeah, they did. It was not as good. The extended cut was better. I watched the extended cut. I actually own it. It's a lot better. But it kind of felt like they took all the movies and just put them in a pot and started them together.
Oh.
You know, so they really. I mean, and then there's only so much you can do with it.
Trying to pander to the crowd.
Yeah.
Give them what they want.
Almost. Well, I mean, it wasn't just pandering to the crowd. It was just like, whereas it was the same people that did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that remake, which the 2004 version of Texas Chainsaw is amazingly good. I loved it when I heard the same crew was doing Friday the 13th. I was like, yes, this is going to be amazing, fresh, new, and then it wasn't anything like it. It was just like another. It felt like just another cheesy.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th movie, and I was wanting them to make him scarier again,
Right.
and they didn't do that, in my opinion. I said the extended cut, or as they call it, the killer cut, is a lot better, but still.
The killer cut.
Yeah, so, anyway, and, yeah, so that's my thoughts on that, but then we got this movie. Scream!
Yeah! Now, I just got done saying I gotta watch Halloween every Halloween.
It's another one.
Scream. Not only do I have to watch it every Halloween, but I could watch that any day of the week.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not a Halloween movie for me.
Yeah.
That is more of a high school nostalgia movie.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because I remember being in band class.
Yep.
And it was one of those days where it's like, we're not doing anything. Let's just watch a movie.
Yep.
And it was fall. It was Halloween time. So
Yep.
we played Scream. And I mean, come on. Everybody loves high school. Everybody loved high school. If you're in your 30s, even if you got picked on in high school a lot, you still look back on it with fond memories because you didn't have to worry about bills. You know, so it was better. It was a good time. So watching Scream, even though it's a parody, which I still don't see it.
Well, what they mean by parody is that they're parodying and making fun of the genre itself, because what they do in it is they make it blatantly obvious all of the tropes.
Right.
Like the whole thing of like, they even talk, well, why wouldn't you run out the front door?
Right.
And then she runs past the front door and goes upstairs.
Right.
You
She does
know?
the exact same thing. I always thought that was just my generation's scary movie.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Kennedy, remember Jamie
Oh,
Kennedy? Yeah, man, Jamie Kennedy Experiment. Remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude. Jamie Kennedy, come on the show, bro. Jamie Kennedy, Malibu's Most Wanted? Be rad.
I forgot about that movie.
Dude, how could you forget about Malibu's Wanted?
Wow.
Okay, so, anyway, enough with Jamie Kennedy love. Jamie Kennedy, we want you on the show. He was my generation, your
Yes.
generation. He was us in that show. He was in that movie. He was the '90s kid saying, "Well, what? Why don't you just go out the front door?"
Mhm.
Or we all know that this is how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Virgins live, people have sex, die. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of stuff did and didn't happen in those movies because Jamie Kennedy ended up. Well, he didn't die in the first movie. Did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he died in the first movie.
A lot of people
His
died.
sister was in the second movie.
That's right.
And they played a video. He made a video.
That's right.
About okay.
Yeah.
He might have lived to be in
Yeah.
the second one. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I thought. I never really thought of it as a parody. I just thought of it as
Oh well, I mean that's the beauty of what Scream is that even though it was written like a parody, it doesn't play like one.
Right.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great scary movie.
Yeah.
Great
Now-
Halloween movie.
Now this one, I'm gonna show the poster for. It was the second John Carpenter movie I ever saw,
Okay.
and it's just the remake sucked. The original is just a good old fashioned ghost story movie,
Okay.
and that is John Carpenter's The Fog, which
The
with
fuck.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
She was
And-
the original Scream Queen.
She was. And I love you. The voice you just did reminds me of the trailer because they would say, "The Fog, John Carpenter's The Fog. What in the living hell is out there?"
What in the living hell is out there?
Exactly. That's what it was.
Find out this fall with John Carpenter's The Fog.
And it's
Rated
just,
R.
yeah.
In theaters everywhere.
And the commentary and documentary stuff on that is just as great too because the first cut wasn't scary originally, and John Carpenter had 3 months to go back and shoot stuff, re-edit it, and make it scary.
Yeah.
And so he, this is why I like John Carpenter. He said, "I was devastated." He was devastated at first, but then he said, "You know what? I can either sit here and cry about it, or I can go fix it." And he said, "I went and fixed it." You know,
That's why
And-
he makes the big bucks.
and he, I love that movie. It's just fun. That's just, it is got its creepy moments. You know, what's the matter, buddy? You okay?
John Carpenter's The Fog.
Now, I love John Carpenter. I actually talked to him on Twitter a couple of times. I would love to meet him. But,
John Carpenter, we want you on the show.
oh,
What do you
Alright.
think the odds are, John Carpenter or Jamie Kennedy? Who do you think we could have on first?
probably Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy.
This next movie I'm going to show the poster for just came out last year, digital only. But it was so popular on streaming that they released a 4-disc edition of it. And it is an anthology film, which an anthology film is like one movie that's made up of short films, but they're all connected somehow, like Trick or Treat. That was a good one. You should look that one up. This one, my wife loves it. We watched it again. I forgot how great it was, but it's called Tales of Halloween.
Never heard of this.
You have to watch it here soon.
Okay.
I love it. They've got segments that are directed by some really great horror filmmakers, and one of them, like Darren Lynn Bousman, who did Saws 2, 3, and 4, I believe, and he's done like a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, but they've got some great segments in there. They even have one called Friday the 31st, and it is it takes that. Oh, I was laughing so hard, but it was so creepy at the same time. But it was just funny. Then they have one called Bad Seed, which is about a pumpkin that comes to life. A jack-o'-lantern, and it is creepy, but it is good. I'll have to show you some stuff. But Tales of Halloween, check it out on streaming. They just released a 4-disc edition of it on Blu-ray and DVD. And, okay, I'll do this one here as well. They're John Carpenter classic. This is underrated. You need to watch this too. We'll just have a movie marathon. Let's just
We
do
should. We probably should have done that before this.
that. That's, well, time is...
Yeah, the
Time
essence.
makes
fools of us all. It's true.
All right. This is Sam Neill in a clip. This is one of the screenshots from In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter directed.
I have heard of this.
This movie is a horror gem.
I've heard that this movie is actually like
It is a
intense.
mind
Yeah.
screw of a movie.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's like... It's just so psychologically jarring that you want to look away because it's like, oh, this is just so whoa, and then you
Right.
can't look away from it. It's just so good, and it's about. Well, first of all, it's inspired by H.P. Lovecraft stories, and it's also inspired by a couple other things. And my wife is calling me right now.
His wife is calling.
Yes. So let's see here.
Oh, and it pops up on his.
Hello, dear.
It pops.
Still in the
Excuse
middle of
me.
recording. We're live
The
right now.
plasma is getting to me.
What's it?
It pops up on his laptop when he's got a phone call. Oof.
Okay, honey, just let me know. I'll call you as soon as I'm done.
McDonald's earlier is
You
coming.
okay? Okay. Okay, honey. I'll call you in a second. Love you. Bye. So
It popped up on the thing.
yeah, it does. The new thing I just did.
That
The
is
new-
cool.
Yeah. So I can answer it on my computer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness, inspired by Stephen King stuff and H.P. Lovecraft. Then Sam Neill plays a insurance detective, or I can't remember what it is, but Sutter Kane, who is the novel writer they're looking for, who wrote his newest book called In the Mouth of Madness, has disappeared. And as a publicity stunt, they think, and they want him back. So he goes searching for him, and he ends up in Hobbs End, which is a fictional town that he created only in his books.
Right.
And all his books, though, are actually happening within that town.
Yeah.
And
kind of thing,
it
yeah.
is so creepy. So that's a good one. In the Mouth of Madness is very underrated. It's very underrated. It's one of his most underrated films ever.
What's next?
The Thing.
The Thing.
You can't go wrong with that. You can't. You just. The Thing is. It's actually a remake of a movie from the 50s called The Thing from Another World.
Okay.
John Carpenter remade this, and it is one of his collaborations with Kurt Russell, and it's about a group of scientists in the Arctic who get attacked with aliens. And the alien, though, is just like the tagline says, it's like, man is the warmest place to hide. So the alien, yeah, but you don't know who the alien is once it's inside him.
Right.
Yeah, so I won't. Yeah, anyway, The Thing by John Carpenter. It's a classic. They're releasing a remastered Blu-ray edition from Shout Factory or Scream Factory, actually this month with
Okay.
it as well. So, and like I said earlier, we'll just touch on this Conjuring 2. I know you haven't seen it yet.
Right.
Better than the first one. James Wan definitely honing in on his craft. Like I said, he did a jump scare on me and got me really good. That's a fantastic one, and I highly recommend it. It's just good. And for those of people who don't know, it's about the Enfield poltergeist case that the Warrens investigated. Well, that was proven to be fake.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, well, how are they going to work this whole story of it being faked into the story? And they did it beautifully. It made it make sense how it was great. Great. And of course, can't talk about favorite horror movies without talking about the Evil Dead trilogy.
Of course. Of course.
I still think the first Evil Dead creeps me out to this day.
It's creepy.
The
It's a
original-
creepy movie.
You know, they went out to make the scariest movie ever made, they said. That was their mindset. And I think them having that mindset is what has made this movie last so long, because it is just a freaking creepy movie. And there are parts where I'm just like, "Rrr." And then it's Evil Dead 2 and 3 where they start kind of getting to the horror comedy aspect of it.
Right.
But the original first Evil Dead, creeptastic. And the remake, a lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it because I knew, hey, if they're going to remake Evil Dead, it was going to be exactly how it came out.
Right.
And I have a theory about that movie. When they open the Necronomicon in that remake, you see stuff from the original movie appear in it. It makes me wonder if that version of Evil Dead is happening across the woods somewhere through a dimensional thing, because in the third one, Army of Darkness, there's a lot of dimensional traveling happening.
Right.
So, and there is talk that version could appear somewhere in Ash vs. Evil Dead, which is on Stars, and that's a great
The
thing.
new Army, or the new
People,
Evil Dead.
Yeah,
Right.
could be they could run into him at some point.
A lot of
Across
dimensional
them.
shifts.
Yeah, so those are that. And then, is that all of them? I think we had one more. Oh, I can't not talk about this one. Okay. Jaws came out 77.
You didn't hit it.
I didn't hit it yet, yes. But
Okay.
yeah. Good build up. To set up.
But you already said Jaws.
I know.
Okay.
But when Jaws got released and became one of the biggest hits ever, you got a lot of knockoff movies.
Right.
And a lot of them were just really like blatant knockoffs. Like
Blatant. Like, this is not right.
you're like, wait, this is Jaws? Like, just called something else.
Clamps.
Yeah.
Give him the clamps!
And one movie came out that Steven Spielberg actually liked, because even though
Okay.
Joe Dante, who directed Gremlins and all those movies and the Howling movies, which are all great, this movie that he did is what made Steven Spielberg hire him to direct one of the segments of the Twilight Zone movie.
Oh.
And then Spielberg produced Gremlins, and
Yeah.
had Joe Dante directed as well. So this movie gave Joe Dante the recognition he did, but Roger Corman produced it. It's one of my favorites. It is called Piranha.
Oh, Piranha.
I love this movie, and even though it is a popcorn movie, it is just a fun watch. And even though, like, just kind of like how Scream was written like a parody, it doesn't play like one. This is supposed to be a knockoff movie of Jaws, but it doesn't even feel like that.
Really?
It feels original, and it is just a fun movie to watch, and I highly recommend it. There's a special edition out from Shout Factory that has all the special features and how they did all the effects back in those times, and some of it's really easy and it's so cheesy how they did it, but it looks amazing on camera. So, Piranha, produced by Roger Corman, directed by Joe Dante. So great. So those are a handful of horror movies that
Yeah.
we can talk about.
Before we go,
Yes.
or before we start wrapping up,
Yes.
well, just one.
One.
Worst horror movie you've ever seen.
Worst horror movie I've ever seen.
I'll start.
Go ahead.
Sleepy Hollow High. Okay, so
That sounds awful.
dude, it was okay. So
It sounds so bad though. I want to watch it.
about 10 years ago,
Uh,
maybe like 6, 7, 8 years ago, before Netflix, before the Hulu, before the even really like YouTube was heavy, before everybody had internet, there was, a thing called renting movies. Some of you may still do it. Some of you have no idea what I'm talking about. And like, so this was, we just moved up here. Me, my mom, my brother, that's my family. We went crazy and just rented everything we could. We watched everything. One thing that we got was Sleepy Hollow.
Hi.
And we would have never found it if it wasn't just for us going in and just renting everything we could just to watch stuff all the time.
I gotta look it up.
It
That's
starts off with like he was either a cop or somebody important is killed, of course, horror. And then they're put up in a park pavilion.
Yeah.
You know how like if you were like when you like turned 8, you got to like have your birthday party at the park, and there were like those little covered pavilion areas with like a really crappy metal grill.
Yeah.
That's where this guy was put up with a pumpkin on his head. And then the whole rest of the movie is, and there's some little naughty bits in it because it was like, it was like an R-rated movie and it was like a cheaply made movie, so they put in some naughty bits to sell it. That's how those horror movies are.
You gotta do what you gotta
There was a whole like after school detention situation going because it was, Sleepy Hollow High.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert.
Oh.
It's all a dream. At the end,
Seriously?
somebody wakes up.
Oh my gosh.
So bad, I swear. Dude, I'm
Oh
saving
my
you. You
goodness.
don't have to look it up now because you pretty much got it. If you want to see a really crappy slow motion walk to the camera, like that's in everything, like everybody has a slow motion walk to the camera, and if you want to see somebody mess up a slow motion walk to the camera,
Watch that movie.
worse than in Reservoir Dogs, watch that movie. I think the Reservoir Dogs slow motion walk to the camera is a little choppy. But that's just me.
It was his first movie.
It was his first movie. Love you, Quentin Tarantino. Love
Yes.
Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs is more of a horror movie than Sleepy Hollow High. Seriously,
It's true.
worst horror movie I've ever seen.
Gosh, for me, I would have to. Let me think, man. Because there's so many. Like, there's movies that are like so bad they're good to watch. Like a lot of Roger Corman movies.
We're not talking about them.
I know. But every time I think of one, I'm like, oh, that one's still fun to watch just because it's just so ridiculous.
We're talking about people that were like, I've got the $1 million idea. Scary movie. High school. Sleepy Hollow.
Millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
Right there.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that, they weren't trying to be funny. They weren't trying to be like Scream. They weren't trying to be
Yeah.
like the Scary Movie franchises, which have Those are parodies.
Yeah.
Those them be some parody waters there, Captain.
Well, gosh, worst one I've ever seen. I mean, I'm trying to go through all of them here in my head.
Right.
I know a show that I can't stand, but it's not a movie, but everybody loves, and that's American Horror Story. I can't do it.
I don't think that counts.
It doesn't count though.
No, because that's a good that is critically acclaimed.
I know.
Like that's like in its
I
fifth
know.
season. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, I know.
I'm not saying they're right.
I know.
I'm not saying they're wrong.
I agree. So let's.
I am saying you're right though.
Sleeping
Anyway.
Hollow High. That's hard to.
Dude,
top.
it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. If you guys have any movies that you hated, davidjasonversus@gmail.com. davidjasonversus@gmail.com. Send us
Yes.
your ideas for scary movies that you saw and that you hated, and also ideas for future shows. What did you say?
There was one in the 70s that came out called Frogs.
Frogs!
And they were supposed to be a horror movie about frogs, like a plague of frogs. I barely remember it, but I remember going, what?
Wow, frogs. That's pretty bad.
And frogs is one that comes to mind. Then I'm trying to think. There's some in the 90s that came out, because during the 90s you had that big straight to VHS revolution that happened a lot.
Yep. So people were popping out movies
Like crazy, and
crazy.
Not anymore though.
Yeah. What's that all about?
Just digital stuff. It's easier to consume digital than VHS. Though there are VHS connoisseurs out there that still watch them on VHS.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So especially horror movies. Golly, I mean, Frogs is the only one I can come off the top of my head right now. I'd have to really dig in deep to figure out what horror movies where I'm just like, I didn't really care for it.
You ever seen The Town That Dreaded Sundown?
The original or the remake?
The original.
No, I've not seen the original. I know about it though.
The remake I hear is not a remake. It takes place 20 years later.
Yeah, it's somebody reenacting the killings because of the movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that. Yeah. Because somebody's always said, well, why would you do that? Because it would inspire somebody to do that again.
Right.
And then they did a movie about it.
Okay.
Yeah. There was The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Yeah, that was the original one I need to see, though.
The original one is... It's okay. It's more like... It reminds me more of like the old school stuff where you didn't see much, but not done as well. So you kind of just don't see anything.
Okay, fair
kind
enough.
of stuff. The guy's really scary,
Fair enough.
but he's not like the scariest person ever.
Right on. Okay. Well then, I mean, gosh, there's a whole bunch of movies. I mean,
Star Trek: The Motion Picture. That's probably the scariest movie out there. That's straight horror. Straight horror.
Oh my goodness.
Not like Episode 5, which is a cinema masterpiece. You still can't think of one?
I can't. Frogs is the only one.
Frogs.
That's the only
We got Frogs from him.
It's the only thing I can come up with off the top of my head right now. I know there's something else in the back of my head. I just can't get the name of it right now.
From earlier in the podcast,
Yes.
what trailer are we going to watch right now?
Oh, it was going to be Get Out.
Get Out, yes! The new Jordan Peele joint. Is that what the kids say? Isn't that what the kids say? Is that racist because he's a black guy that I said that like Spike Lee does? We're all going to go to podcast jail. I got my cup. Nobody knows my sorrows. I swear I was trying to sing that one song that people sing in jail. What is it?
I've never been in jail, so I don't know.
Me neither. But no, in Spaceballs she sings it when she's in prison.
Crap.
Oh, this is
We'll
your
figure it
extra
out next
content
time.
for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna go, and we're gonna Facebook Live stream, me watching the trailer for Get Out.
Yep.
And we're gonna hopefully try and remember the song that they sing in jail when they're, because all I can think of is Carly Simon's theme song to The Spy Who Loved Me. Nobody does it better.
Oh.
Makes
you talking about like the
still with that.
nobody knows what it's like?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Okay. Yeah.
because it says nobody knows but Jesus.
Oh. No, I have no idea. Well, we're gonna have to look up some hymns.
Yeah, it is like an old,
Yeah.
Anyway, so go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/DavidJasonVersus.
Yes.
Local, we're trying to win an award for this one. We're going to get our own, whatever the podcast version of an Emmy is. We're going to win that.
Podcasty.
The casty, or the potty.
I like it.
So go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/DavidJasonVersus. We're going to watch
Yes.
the trailer for that. Also, DavidJasonVersus@gmail.com. Send us anything you want.
Yes.
Preferably ideas for shows. Not that we're running out, but hey, we'd love to hear what you got.
And the next time will be our special Halloween episode.
This was kind of a precursor.
Yes.
Kind of a, hey, let's, kind of talk about the holiday season coming up, which would be Halloween. But yeah, next episode is Halloween episode.
Halloween. It'll be fun times all around.
More details to come. We're still trying to find a place to film it.
Yes.
But we've got a great idea.
Indeed we do.
A little scary.
We'll
That's
see
what
if we can
Halloween
pull it
is.
out. Yep.
We're going to pull it off.
Yeah.
So again, guys, hey, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'll be at Toys R Us most days of the week. He'll be
I'm everywhere.
teaching your children most days of the week. And Hank will be guarding
sleeping.
and sleeping, I guess, more than guarding. So yeah.
How do we want to sign off on this one?
DVJ out.
Out.
Dave and Jason versus DJV, not DVJ. That's like Dave versus Jason, which is not it.
No.
DJV, which sounds like a European music mixer. Hi everybody, I'm DJV. So I'm DJV. That's Jason. We'll see you guys next week. That's how we'll do it.
Yes, we'll do that.
I'll be right back.
Happy Halloween!